Okay. So I'll call the Planning and Zoning Commission special meeting to order. First item is a roll call. Are you Mike?
I'm here.
Kane?
Mike Payne.
And Sue?
I'm here.
Steve?
Present.
And we have Halzad
I'm sort of here.
and Kevin Pitbull.
I'm here.
Okay, so we have a quorum. And we have our new business review of capital improvement program, fiscal year 2025 to 2030. And we'll just go over the items that have funding requests for fiscal year 25. And we'll just go through the items as in order. So the first one would be the in a roads program. We have town pavement management program.
Yep, this is our annual allotment for repaving or reconstructing town roads. We've been doing this for a few years now after we finished up the bond that we had. So we're doing about 1.2 million per year. This year we're going up a little bit because of the cost of pavement, just to start to get ahead of things. So we got 1.3 million. And the roads we're looking at doing are in the listed there. We're doing the Wayne, I don't know what neighborhood that's called, Wayne Road, and all those back in there. Woodland Drive and Valley Road, those roads are in really bad shape. So we're going to do that whole neighborhood because it just makes sense to go in and do the whole neighborhood rather than one or two streets. We're also looking at Industrial Drive. This road is probably one of the worst in town. I know it doesn't have a lot of houses or businesses on it, but it is going to be part of the bike path from Knoxville to Depot. So we want to, we're going to be doing some striping and signage and stuff for Parks and Recs. So we want to repave it before we do that, make it nice. And then a couple of the large roads we'll be doing this year is Colonel Edged Highway from 184 to the town line and Culver Avenue.
Does anyone have any concerns with this? On these items that go on at the same amount for every year, what about inflation? Should you start looking in?
Yeah, well, I mean, they probably should have a little bit each year to be make it reflect the inflation, make it accurate.
Yeah. No comments on that. And the next one I have is truck loading zone on Water Street.
Yeah, this is we've seen or had a number of complaints from residents about the trucks when they deliver to the restaurants right in front of the Mystic restrooms there on Water Street. They park on the sidewalks, they park one on the side of the road, and cars can't get through. So we're looking at creating a little, and I do have a little concept plan here, kind of a little pocket pull-off area for a box truck where there's four existing head-in spaces here. So we would get rid of those, and then the sidewalk would wrap around the space, and that would allow at least the trucks to get out of the travel path when they're unloading.
Hang on, I just want to zoom in on that so folks
Okay.
can see it.
And then we could also sign this for during night or during the weekends when there's no deliveries. You could get two vehicles could parallel park there in those spaces.
So you just put up signs for certain hours.
Certain hours of parking is allowed.
That's
Yeah,
what you usually do in those.
yeah.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because 90% of I think deliveries take place in the morning
Oh, most of them are in the
or-
morning. Yeah.
Sometimes in the afternoon, you'll see a truck
Yeah.
parked on the other side, on the Factory Square side,
Mhm.
where you have to walk
Yeah,
out in the
they
street.
say they try to
front.
schedule them, but I don't think they do. The drivers just, they come when they can. They
Now,
get
what
there.
about a garbage truck or something? That has the same problem, but that's.
Well, they're usually just going along and picking up and keep
Yeah.
going, or they come real early in the morning, like for the dumpsters and whatnot.
Yeah.
But these are the guys, delivering to the restaurants. They stop for, 10, 15 minutes. while they're
Takes them
unloading.
quite a while. to
Yeah.
unload, yeah.
Cause then they got to hand truck it to the different places and
Mhm.
so, we already, this is a state road. We've already checked with DOT. They wouldn't have any issue with this. Just have to get the permits for it. So,
Would solve that problem, though we lose a couple of places.
yeah, we lose a couple parking places, but.
Negligible by 1%, 1/10 of 1%. Does anyone have any concerns with this proposal?
Is there any, one of those spaces is the police, is marked for police.
Yeah.
They have an
Right.
issue with?
No, the police are on board with this.
Okay. Anybody have anything else in that?
No, this is Kevin. I think it's a good recommendation. I mean, we already have a horrible parking situation anyway, so it doesn't really make it much worse. So I think what it does is it creates a better downtown Mystic, and it's a really good recommendation.
Yeah, no. Improves both pedestrian and
Yeah,
car traffic. It's held up for it. And that's it for that one section. Then we got
Mhm.
drainage and watershed protection. We have the first one is a culvert rehabilitation.
Yep, we're looking at, there's two culverts on River Road. One of them is at the intersection with Binless. And then another one, further north, where there's between houses 883 and 901. It's a real low point in the road. It's around a sharp curve. And these culverts have been, repaired over the years, and they're just failing. But probably more importantly is the elevation of the road here is so low that even during high tide, extreme high tides during the month, they are flooding in these areas. So we look at raising the road at these low points as well as replacing the culverts.
So you would be able to raise the road.
That's what we're trying to,
That
I
would be a
think,
good idea.
yeah.
Drainage improvements. Is that some of that?
It's under a culvert.
This is 2A culvert rehab.
They're together, then, raising the road and.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, because we, if we're replacing the culvert, we're obviously, digging it all
You
out. So might
wanna-
as well just,
At least that one area
yeah, in those areas, it's pretty,
might be a long speed bump.
it could be, but I mean, it's, I think you can go to either side and get back up to a higher elevation pretty.
Anybody have any concerns, questions on this?
Nope.
All right, next we have local drainage improvements, new installations. There are three
Yeah, there's
places you have.
3 areas here we're looking at. We just completed the Mystic Resiliency Study. And, there was some areas to address for flooding on Pearl and Gravel Street. So we want to kind of take it to the next level and get some engineering design funds to really study, what we can actually start doing construction on, such as disconnection of some of the upper watershed areas. Upgrading some of the undersized drainage pipes that are in those roads, and then some tidal flow check valves at the Mystic River, so that the river doesn't flood the the roads. So that's what those funds are for. The second area is the Willow Point neighborhood. We currently have an engineer doing a neighborhood wide study. Because we've had a couple of areas there that are, again, they're so low, they're constantly flooding at high tides. People can't get to their houses, and so we're just looking at some options we can do to alleviate those issues. So this, right now it's a study, so these fundings would just carry to the next level again to construction plans and permitting. And the third one is actually over in the city at Shore Avenue. There's a large portion of the golf course that drains through this residence yard from a wetlands, and there's a drainage system there, but we had a study done and it's vastly undersized. So they have pretty significant flooding in their yard and into the street. So we're looking at, again, doing engineering plans and permitting to upgrade those pipes.
This is really a golf course.
The golf course is, yeah,
Otherwise, it would be the city to,
yeah.
for a
those-
road
if-
issue.
Yeah,
Okay, anybody have any concerns with this item?
My
Questions?
concern is that, I mean, we're looking at this next year. Is there any like thought as to what happened, like we, you know, if this stuff were ever to be done, what happens in 15 years and are we? What is the long-term thought on what's gonna happen?
yeah, so especially like the Willow Point
That's what I
neighborhood,
was
if you're looking at 50 years from now, you look at the study, the models, it's like completely underwater.
So how long do we like?
So that's what we gotta
pretend
kind of,
that
to
we're
weigh,
gonna be able to do this stuff?
yeah, we gotta
Because it
kind of,
keeps getting put off and then,
Mhm.
you know, or do we retreat or and what is the thought? Is there any thought?
Right now, I wouldn't say there's any thought of that, other than solving these immediate problems, you know, without putting too much money, but maybe there is, you know, I don't know what the long-term solution is putting a wall around the whole thing and pumping the
Well,
water out,
These
you
are
know?
Things that we have to address at some time.
Yeah, at some point, we're gonna have
It will
to,
be a southeastern Connecticut Venice.
Well, it's not,
Hmm?
it's real, it's happening.
And people are putting their houses up on stilts.
and using a boat to get to them, because
Yeah. You'll have your Boston whaler in the garage ready to go.
yeah.
Any other questions on this item?
Kevin has his hand raised.
Oh, yes, Kevin?
Yeah, so I do. I agree, the Pfizer decision is obviously very warranted, et cetera. But has the town taken a position that it's our responsibility for houses that are built near the water for us to mitigate that? Or is that a landowner's issue, not a town issue? Such as Willow Point.
Well, I think we're looking at, you know, the streets that are flooding. So we're trying to maintain access to people's houses as best we can. Because, you know, some of these roads do get flooded at high tide. So it's, you know, I think that's a town responsibility to do what we can do to make sure they're, you know, that people's property are accessible. You know, if it's flooding on somebody's private property, I don't.
Yeah,
Like
but
that's
it's
down.
really road drainage that's the
Yeah,
problem.
it's the road drainage that we're looking at.
You can't drain.
And
drainage
everybody's sump
because
pumps that
there's
are
that-
pumping out there and, you
Yeah.
know, we're looking at all that stuff, so.
Kevin, this is, I think, an evolving issue. I mean,
Right.
you know, absent climate change and sea level rise, yeah, you know, it's a town road and the town maintains it and makes sure that people have access to their properties. But as the water increasingly comes in, I mean, I expect to see court cases on this. Because at some point, I would imagine in the future, 50, 60, 70 years, there are going to be towns who are going to want to abandon those roads because they just can't be maintained. So the answer is we don't know.
Yeah, well, that's starting to happen. That's my issue. Like if you
Yeah.
go to Southampton and some of the flooding that they've had over the years, the town has said, I no longer can maintain that road. They've taken that position. So while we're moving toward that, I'd love the town to take, as we all know, because the resiliency report, which is a great start, we need to start taking some of those positions similar to other towns, you know, throughout the Northeast, which is different than the motion we're going through for the moment. So that's my only point.
But you're just looking at it as a design issue to see if you can do something.
Could do something for the immediate,
Because you
Yeah.
want
not
to,
long term,
yeah,
correct?
it's
Right.
really you're
Yes.
draining the road, but the system is below the tidal level. That's the problem.
Right, and the road, some of the roads are below the,
Right. Well, the road is higher.
I get all that. yeah.
It's the draining part. You have to
Yeah.
have something below that. Hmm?
Right.
Yeah. Because they do have some places that are above you can see they're above the water level,
Oh,
but they
yeah.
can't drain because the drainage.
the drain. is
Outlet.
the
The
drain is
outlet of the
below.
drain is higher.
Yeah.
Higher
Yeah.
than tide,
Yes, yep.
but not higher than the road.
Right.
That's the problem. but you're just doing it and see if it can be done.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay,
But then I guess 2026, it says construction to be determined,
well,
the cost.
Huh?
The cost will be determined.
all the cost, but you're
Because you're gonna-
planning for that year. I was just curious, especially downtown Mystic.
Yeah, because, we don't know what the solutions are gonna be yet, so it's kind of hard to put a number on.
Sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's
But it-
good you're thinking at least that soon.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's it for that section. Next one, section is sidewalks. We have, the first section is, we're just
First section is the
jet
replacement.
repair.
Repair
and
replacement, yeah, and this. We had 75,000, I think you guys had asked for 100,000 last year. I asked the council, they didn't raise it, so I raised it this year to 100,000, so.
Good.
Have more money for fixing all the damaged sidewalks and,
Well, there are a lot of, they keep getting more sidewalks.
yeah.
Plus you have inflation too. So, Huh?
Yeah, and then the sidewalks are getting older, so we got more to repair.
any concerns with sidewalk repair?
This, I know that last year when you spoke, you were doing a lot of, grinding.
Yeah.
And that work.
Yeah.
Is this that kind of?
That kind of stuff, yeah.
There's not new sidewalk though.
No, I mean, there's sections like on Library Street in Mystic where it's, really deteriorated to a point where we got to do wholesale replacement of the concrete or something. We would do stuff like that, or patching or raising driveway aprons, putting new driveway aprons in, not new, but replacing driveway aprons that are deteriorated. But it's no new sidewalks per se where there are none existing.
And this is enough money, doesn't seem like very much money.
It actually gets us pretty far.
I mean, I'm thinking London spends $2 million. I mean, it's like, but.
Yeah, I don't know what
They
they're
have-
doing with it.
I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like that much. And if you can do it for that, that's great.
So you said 650 linear feet. That's not square feet, linear feet. I mean, that's what, 40 miles? No,
Where are you seeing that?
Oh, 650,000 linear feet of concrete. That's the total sidewalk.
yeah, that's
Network.
100 mi- is that?
It's
100
the
miles?
network. Not what he's doing. It's the network in the town.
Yeah, somebody, I don't know
Where that came from.
where exactly where that number came from, but.
So that's not what you're replacing?
No, no,
No,
that's just
no.
the total of
That's
the
the
town.
total network.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
read it,
lot,
it says
650,000.
Funds the replacement of the existing network totaling, funds the replacement of.
Hmm?
When needed.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
maybe not worded so bad.
Huh?
So
That's
we're-
over
That's what we
100,
did every
that's
day.
over 100 miles.
Yeah,
Yeah, which
Sidewalk.
Makes that number. Really.
Well, if you
Yeah.
have it on both sides of the street, that's,
yeah,
that's, okay. So we walked through that one.
oh, good.
Then we have, next item is infill sidewalk construction. Oops. nothing on there.
No.
When's the ambulance gonna get theirs? The
The ambulance.
building on.
Oh,
on
oh,
Allen
right.
Street.
I know that project actually is progressing, the state project on Allen Street for the lights and.
Oh, yeah, that's a real project now.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
It is, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
that's,
light
yeah.
down there?
yeah, traffic lights, the end of the
Oh,
And doing some other work.
And doing sidewalk. work,
sidewalks,
that's right.
pedestrian
Yep.
crossings.
Yep.
That's good idea. They really traffic
Oh,
backs
traffic
up.
backs up there, like, yeah.
Rush hour, yeah.
So, yeah, you'll probably see that in a couple of years going in.
Oh, well,
Can I ask something about that project? Just with regard to how they're addressing the adjacent street, because that intersection is not just the highway. Unfortunately, it's
Sandy Hollow?
There'll be a light at Sandy Hollow as well.
just a light and it's going to be all one
And
controlled
sidewalks.
thing. The sidewalks is good, but then I'm thinking it's going to be a long light transition if it's just trying to control it with just traffic lights. Because you've got Sandy Hollow and then you've got people coming off the highway and then people wanting to make a left-hand turn. And that makes it quite a difference. That sounds like, you know, a 45-second to a minute transition. So I just wonder if anybody else has looked at that, because that's an important
I'm
connection.
Sure, the
That's the
state is
state.
looking at that.
I'm not sure. That's ask.
Well, they have
We
experts.
had
that-
traffic studies for that,
Mhm.
when they, assisted living was gonna go in.
Yep.
It wasn't enough traffic to warrant a light.
Mhm.
That's all I remember.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Way back.
Alright, then we go into, that's it for. That's next item is facilities,
Parks.
parks and
Parks and Rec.
recreation.
Parks and Recs. Time for another sandwich.
Good evening. So we're speaking to just what's remaining in the budget after the town manager's cuts. Is that correct?
Right,
Okay.
that's correct. So the first item would be called facilities improvements,
Okay. So,
section A. no,
yes.
A4.
Yep. So we have $15,000 for replacement of existing benches and putting in new benches. And this is in areas where low level of service was below expectations coming out of the needs assessment and the recreation master plan. The other item that still remains is $28,000 for surveying, engineering plans, permitting, and bid documents for replacing the boat ramp at Perizzotti Boat Launch, which is at Calvin Burrows off of South Road. Well, the problem now is the ramp is too short and it washes out, and there's probably a 12-inch drop at the end of the boat launch. And when people are trailering their boats, you know, it's dropping off into the water. So the plan is to come up with a design to extend that boat launch further out into the water so that we don't have those issues.
Anybody have concerns with this item? Next item is community connectivity program.
Yeah, so we had asked we budgeted $25,000 to use as a match for the Recreation Trails Grant. And the Recreation Trails Grant is an 80-20 match, so the town puts up 20% and the state matches with 80%.
Any concerns with that item?
No.
Okay. Next one that has funding is athletic field development.
No, actually, I think the
Says
park
that-
investment ADA compliance.
Yep.
Yep.
Hmm.
So we had requested $40,000 to continue making improvements or improving accessible routes to various parks. This came out of a study that we did in 2013, and we've been slowly making progress, making recreational facilities more accessible.
Okay, any concerns on that item?
Nope.
Then we have the athletic field development.
Yes, so we have asked for $20,000 to install safety netting behind the lacrosse and soccer nets at either end of the field. We have a walking path that's not too far behind the lacrosse and soccer goals, and are concerned about the safety of people walking. We have had cars hit by balls, and actually the bathroom and concession building has been hit by balls. So this would be temporary fencing, netting that would go up during the season and then come down in the off seasons.
Any questions or concerns on that?
How tall is this netting?
It's like 14 feet high.
Around the entire field?
No, sir, just behind the soccer goals and lacrosse goals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the entire field.
Okay.
A lot of cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Okay,
Sure. Good night.
It is, that's it for. Everything's pushed off till next year.
Yeah.
And then some, yep.
Okay, then we go on to schools. What is it? Out to,
You've only got.
Hmm?
one? Yeah, the auditorium.
I think it's only one item,
Yeah,
right?
it's the auditorium. Yep.
you have a school auditorium, right,
Right.
page 37. We want to just summarize what,
Yeah, so this is a request for $141,000 to upgrade the sound system and the lighting in the auditorium. The equipment there is at least 15 years old, maybe older. The lighting projects we would do with more modern LED units, which would produce less heat and also reduce the energy consumption in there. You may have heard that we just did a big LED project at the high school, the entire high school. We just finished that up too, but did not include the auditorium as part of that project. Also the sound system again, aged. And so this would provide us a better sound system. And along with the digital projection that would be controlled through the control booth. Right now, there's a panel or a pad that they use down in the orchestra pit to control it, but this would be a wireless system that would go right back to the control pan or the control booth, so that it would be, everything would be controlled from the control booth instead of having two people doing it. And again, modernizing that. And of course, the auditorium at the high school is used not only by the high school, we have other town groups using the facility, outside organizations, lots of plays up there, other activities there. So many other organizations within town and outside of town use that. So we'd like to have that upgraded. The seating again is from 1980 something. So that will be a project that we're looking into for the future. We're hoping to come back maybe next year and ask about the upgrading for the seating in that in the auditorium. One of the concerns that we had the last time we had a big event there from the fire marshal was that we seem to have more and more persons in motorized wheelchairs, which were lined up along the side of the seating in the auditorium, which of course in a bad situation would block people from getting out of there. So part of the organization or redesign of the seating would provide an area down in the lower area down by the orchestra pit, so that the able-bodied people would get out first, and those motorized units would then be able to clear out in an orderly fashion. So.
okay. Any concerns on this item? Okay. I guess that's it for schools.
That's it for this year, apparently.
No kitchen. They're supposed to get you a new kitchen.
Well,
They got cut.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
it didn't make it this far, so.
no.
I thought that was a great idea too, just between us, right?
Thank you, Kevin.
No, it sounds like actually it would be.
Yeah, no, a lot of people think that, you know, you have the school down the hill and the kids can go there for culinary arts, but there are a lot of kids at the high school that are studying lots of other
right.
things that would use
Yeah.
this. And of course, Kevin knows too that all those restaurants down there in Mystic can use all the help they can get. Seems to be harder and harder to get young people to work in the restaurants right now, so.
Mhm.
Right.
this will help develop
Still
that.
be integrated into the Fitch versus Grassl Tech complete, curriculum. So we'll
Right.
keep working on that, but I think it's something that needs to be restored, but I know the argument's not here. But thank you.
Right, thanks.
Mhm. Okay. That's it for that section. Now we go to.
Thanks, Sam.
Public buildings.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Okay. Go to public buildings, back again. First one is, I guess, a human services building.
Yeah, this one was approved last year for design and then some construction funds, but we went through and found that, or the architect, because of the price increases, found that the money we had allocated last year wasn't enough, so we're just asking for the additional funds this year so we can get this project done. I mean, the plans and stuff already are all completed. We're almost ready to go out to bid with it.
How much did it go up?
Well, we had put in 150 for construction and they're estimating now 250, so we're asking for another 100,000,
Mm. Wow.
you know.
This is all
That,
windows.
that
Oh,
only
windows.
shows up as 100 then, so it's really 250.
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
150
the other
from
one.
last
But
year.
you already have a hundred.
Last year's money is there.
Is there, right?
Yes.
It's there for 5 years and
Right.
then this is additional.
That's inflation.
Price of windows is going
That's
way up.
inflation.
We just
They're all
got our
hard.
schools done when we did.
They're all hurricane proof windows.
Yes, they are.
They don't have.
Yeah,
Hurricane?
windborne
I
debris
was
or
told by the
whatever.
City inspector that they weren't, but maybe that's just residential.
That could be just residential, yeah.
But that's why the school, remember, because
I know, but that
City
was
school.
all determined to be in, I mean, at least by the city inspector who told me don't have to do it.
oh, really? Hmm. Yeah, well, they're right on the water here. Okay, let's see, what's the next item? Next item is a town hall complex,
Yeah, this is a
CCTV.
CCTV system. The one that they have there now in the tax assessor's office is really old. I don't even know if it's, I guess it's DVR. It may even be as a VCR, who knows? But it's, it's, difficult to see and to hear people on it. So they want to put in a new system, expand it so it shows like the outside ballot box on the parking lot, some of the other areas like judge or probate where they've had problems, and just to expand the coverage in the building.
Any concerns with that item? Looks like something you need. Then we have the public library. Big funds.
Yeah, there's 2 projects here. The first is the roof replacement. Last year we had money allocated for design. That's been completed and the cost estimate is $475,000. And this is to do the, I keep saying new edition, but it's, what, 30 years old at this point, 1995. This is the back part of the building and where the studio is and that area. So it's all original, and we're getting, we have a lot of leaks going on there. So we're looking to get that replaced. The second one is the underground fuel storage tank. It's also been, well, it's put in about the same time as the addition. So it's getting to be about 30 years old. And under DEP regulations, we either have to replace the tank or we can get a 10-year extension by doing some minor upgrades to it. And it's a lot cheaper to do that for us. So, not knowing that we're going to keep with oil for the future, it could be some other heating source in, 5-10 years, who knows? It's not, worth replacing the tank because it would be about 250,000 versus 75,000 just to do the modifications needed.
I'm a little confused because you said the first line item is to replace several failed heat pumps. What is the primary source of heat?
Oh, that was for last year. The heat pumps. They
So
run on,
they don't run on oil.
well, we have a boiler that heats the water up. So it's an oil-fired boiler
For
for heat,
domestic hot water or for?
domestic
heating
hot
oil?
water and heat.
Oh, the heat pumps for cooling.
Yeah, they're tied in with the cooling tower, which we're replacing right now. But the heat pumps, I think they can go both. They do both the heating and cool.
So there's two systems in this building.
Yeah, there's a heating and a cooling system.
But
No,
Boiler
boy.
and electric heat pumps.
Yes,
heat pumps usually run on electricity.
right.
Yeah, and take it out of the air.
No, but you got more than one heating system. you
Well,
see.
maybe, I don't know
Yeah.
what, but is it on this new edition? That there's one separate system in the old building?
no, they have the heat pumps are throughout the building. I'll have to double check because I'm pretty sure they have water running, circulating through them.
But you do have a boiler.
Yeah, oh yeah, we definitely have a boiler.
Okay.
I'd be interested, because, I mean, if you're looking to remove a tank, heat pumps are a way to probably do it in the future.
Right,
And so, don't put a Band-Aid on something that you can eliminate. If you're eliminating or you're replacing heat pumps now,
No, they're
make sure
done.
that they can provide the heat for the building
Mhm.
without the oil.
I think this item needs clarification. It's certainly okay to do from my standpoint, but it needs clarification is what are the heat pumps doing or what's their limitation? Because these we're talking about this as if they're mutually exclusive. And they should be. It should all be just heat pumps, heat and cool. But we also have a boiler, so therefore they're not doing all the heat. So what is the heat pumps doing? So it just needs to be clarified, I think, in the statement.
And if it's for domestic hot water for the bathrooms and everything else, they have heat pumps for those also.
Yeah, but it's whatever's there.
Uh,
Hmm?
Yeah, but I
don't
mean,
know.
we're talking about upgrades and,
Well,
there's somebody
All right,
that
I'll
has
have to get
a
clarification on
clear
that.
master plan to eventually eliminate the oil.
Mhm.
well, if
That's
that's what,
the long-term goal.
A lot of times there's tax bills, breaks and all kinds of things, grants for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that the underground fuel storage, I'm pretty sure unless it's double lined,
Hmm.
you can't put another one in the ground.
Hmm.
The EPA doesn't allow you to put another one in the ground unless it's double lined and all
yeah,
kinds of monitoring systems and.
Well, yeah, we have that now. It's just when they get to 30 years, because the manufacturer's warranty runs out on tanks, you have to do different type of sump. You have to do double lined,
okay.
double wall lines from the tank to the boiler. So this,
Oh, so we don't
upgraded
align that.
monitoring system, and yeah, so all that stuff's got to be all done. That's what the project is to do, to get another 10 years out of it.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else? It's really just the way the thing is written up. It's confusing,
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm?
make it clearer.
but we have no problems with it.
Nope.
So we're really only supposed to look at it as it meets the POCD type of review. Next item is Town Hall Annex Complex 20 Bay Garage.
Yeah, this is our 20 bay storage for the snowplow trucks and other big equipment that's right back here. The roof is original, which was 1985. So just looking for some design funds to design, the roof replacement and replace the metal coping so that, it's hurricane resistant. There's new standards now, so.
You have to have a design for that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
You
just
gotta
don't
get
approval
bid
from people that
documents and
comment
everything else
doing it?
together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you.
Yeah, we
go out
can't
for
just like
bid.
call somebody in and say, hey, give me a price. And
Oh, you want to spec, yeah.
yeah, it has to be all
This
spec'd
is
out.
really so you can go bid on.
Yeah.
Any concerns with this land? The next one is a Jabez Smith House funds maintenance.
Yeah,
Page
this is,
47.
yeah, this is several items that just need to be done just to maintain the house so it doesn't fall into further disrepair than it already has. One is replace the handicap ramp that goes into the house. And things in poor condition. Repainting both the main house and the adjacent carriage house, a garage, whatever it is. And then also to replace the oil fired boiler in there is in pretty poor condition.
Any concerns with this item?
I guess my only concern is when you put all the Jabba Smith expenditures together, that's a big number. And it's kind of like you're getting close to the value of the house, probably. And
This is like a recurring, I mean, I, you know, I understand, but seems like almost for a long time. I know I did work on that building.
Oh, did you?
I know it's a goal of the plan of conservation development, you know, protecting these historical things, you know, and I love historic houses, but it's very hard for a town or any other kind of non-profitish institution to take this thing on.
Mhm.
I just didn't know if there was any light at the end of that. I guess,
No, it's
'cause,
just-
you know, they used to have somebody
It's
living
something we
there,
agreed to when we took the
Yeah.
property.
but nobody's
Not
living
how-
there and taking care of it.
Not at the present time, no.
No,
Bad thing.
but they still wouldn't do the painting.
No, it'd be extra. I used to.
Are
No,
they,
it's
are
my-
they
it's my-
trying to get somebody to live there again?
I don't know. I'm sure that's an ongoing advertisement, but it's been a long time since anybody's been there.
Yes, it's been.
Should be low cost housing.
I think it's free.
So too.
Hmm?
It's
Yeah.
free as long as you
You
put
get
on programs
programs.
or whatever.
Oh, but you have, it's not, you have to pay in other ways.
Yes, with volunteer your time
Time.
to live there.
No taxes.
It could be a short-term rental. I didn't say that.
Wow. Don't say
I didn't say it.
Did you say that?
Bad
it.
joke.
Would be. Oh, plus. Next one I see is on page 51, leased buildings.
Yeah, this is the Groton Ambulance Association's requested funding for repainting their building on Route 117 next to the Jebba Smith House. We did go out and look at it. There's a number of items, rotten boards and trim boards and things that sort of need to be replaced before we even repaint it. So, we estimated the cost at 50,000.
Just for paint,
And, to do the repair work that needed to be
but
done.
it said, that's what I had a problem with the way this is written. Because it says that the ambulance association does minor repairs. And you're only talking about the town now doing minor repairs.
Yeah, under their lease, I mean,
So why are
don't,
why is the town doing minor repairs?
they've asked us to do it. It's really, if the council wants to give them funds for it, it's up to them.
Okay. Well, I guess it's, that's just a financial thing which we aren't supposed to address. Any concerns with this? I am. Next one is we have a police station. Page 52.
Yeah,
Got
so
two items.
two
on
items
this.
here. Yeah, again, same thing with the fuel tanks. They're reaching their 30-year life. One is for the heating of the building and the second is for their diesel generator. So we're looking at just to do some renovation upgrade work to get another 10-year life out of those two tanks. The other project is the locker room renovation. We had allocated 250,000 in last year's budget. We went out to bid with it. The bids came in, well, just over 500,000 up to 650,000. So there was a lot of additional HVAC work that we needed to do that was code required once we really got into the project. So we're requesting an additional $300,000 in funds to So the total would be 550 available for the project.
Any concerns with this item?
Expensive.
Hmm.
How old are the
Taxpayer.
boilers in those buildings? Like, I mean, I just wondered if they're doing the same thing where you're replacing tanks for $250,000.
Yeah, well, we're not replacing the tanks here. We're just, upgraded, but those boilers, I would say they're probably 15 years old, maybe.
Okay, I'm just curious more than that, but then we have $200,000 and we're doing the same thing that we did at the library.
Yeah, it's just there's more work involved and there's also 2 tanks.
And this is mandated by
Yeah.
the state.
Yeah, if we want to keep
Because
those
the
tanks.
life of the tanks.
Yeah, otherwise we're replacing the tanks at substantially more money.
We really shouldn't be talking about the actual dollars. It's whether it meets the objection, where POCD says it. Any other items on that? Next one I've got is page 54, townwide door access system.
All the town buildings have a card control for buildings for employees and, entry to buildings. It's getting to the point where the hardware and the software isn't even supported by our vendor anymore. So it just all needs to be replaced. And so we got a quote of, $85,000 to do all the buildings in town, except for the police station's already been done. So that's the only one that we wouldn't have to do.
Any concerns with this or questions? Next page, Spring Street seawall.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this is in public buildings, but it is.
Why isn't this covered by
That's
insurance?
exactly my question.
Well, we did check that and our deductible for this type of loss is $500,000. So
Oh, really?
I'm close to that.
That's a high-
Well, you get a better rate that way.
Yeah, we
right?
get a much better rate,
Because
I
they don't
guess.
take risk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we only
Yeah, but
have a
then we
real
get-
catastrophic.
If you didn't have it,
loss.
you'd get sued in as soon as the first person drove into the water, because.
It's a sad story, this one.
Yeah, our snowplow truck kind of took this wall out and
And he was down there to make the road pass all.
It
Yeah.
was. It got right through.
we had the design done and we've already gotten all the DEP and Army Corps permits for this, so.
Any concerns with this item? Okay, then we're moving on to IT.
All right. Like grab a cookie. You want another cookie?
No, well, I'm gonna take one.
I want to take mine home.
Good evening.
This is big funds here. Got page 58, information infrastructure.
That is correct. First one is for information technology infrastructure. The request is for 135,000 for server and operating system upgrades. Switches, routers, wireless access point upgrades. To increase the speed and reliability of the redundant high-speed connections between the town hall and other buildings, including the police department, and to enhance our backup systems.
Anybody have any questions, concerns on that? Next one is,
Excuse me,
Right.
sorry, Mr. Chair, I did. This is Kevin. So
Yeah.
my question is, what percentage of the Groton Town IT is cloud versus on-premise?
I don't have an exact percentage, but I can tell you that the majority of it is on premise. And most of our cloud-based solutions are for redundancy.
Yeah, so it's like a disaster recovery, it's backup?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. So is there, I haven't seen the IT plan as we move this forward, but is there an IT plan and or vision to move to the cloud in the near future? and I don't know whether that includes, the Microsoft licenses or anything else, but it's a high number, per year versus the cloud spend.
Yes, I think that most of the solutions that we've looked at up to this point, it's been more cost effective to have it on premise. There was a master plan that was developed in 2017 that kind of laid most of this out. We're not opposed to going to the cloud, but it's just on a case by case basis.
Yeah. So we've seen since 2017 a huge reduction in a lot of cloud spend, right? From a percentage that in 2017, and I'll just pick through the 2020, 21, with GCP, Google coming into the cloud structure as a hyperscaler, we've seen the prices change dramatically downward as far as cloud is concerned. And the town doesn't seem to be mirroring some of the other maybe adjacent towns and or larger towns as far as that structure is concerned. So I always get concerned when we continue to do it on-prem, where it appears with the agility and efficiency and cost, cloud appears to be a very viable solution versus 2017. That's my concern. So
I understand.
yeah. So can I ask another question? As part of those upgrades, from a security standpoint, and we've seen the ransomware issue and the hacking come in at the school system, does anything include any of insurance and or ransomware type of approach for security within that 180,000, or is that just infrastructure?
It is infrastructure, but some of that does strengthen our security footprint. Although there is another request here that we haven't gone to that's specific to security.
Okay, I'll wait for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody have anything else on that item? Next one is enterprise resource planning.
Yes, this is a continued effort to migrate a lot of the town's critical software from various solutions over to Tyler software. It's been divided into phases, and we are, I would say, about 70% through the phases, and this is just to continue that work.
Mhm. Anybody have any questions, concerns on that item?
I can't say I understand what this is doing. What do you,
This would be the software that all the various departments use to, I guess, to track whatever is specific to their department that they're doing.
Yeah, for example, our department had recently launched online permitting. It's through the Tyler system.
okay,
Yeah.
Theoretically,
it's
so everything
usually-
can talk to each other.
oh, so each one
Yes.
has. it all.
Yeah.
The ERP is usually middleware in some ways that allows everything to connect to the other devices more than anything else from a software standpoint. So it's usually Oracle is an ERP type of solution because it's a all in on Oracle. But I commend you for going to Tyler, as Oracle continues to be massively expensive. So very nice work on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, the next item is IT security, page 61.
Yes, IT security, the request for this is 73,000. This is going to be dedicated towards disaster recovery planning and testing. That is some work that has already been started, but we'd like to continue the work with that, given the threat landscape. We have detection and response solutions that we're looking to employ to protect us if there is some type of a breach. Firewall upgrades and security training for town employees.
Can you just walk through what it means when you have 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, all kind of saying the same thing? Is that a new hardware, new software?
In the case of the firewall, those are upgrades. So that is existing hardware that's going to be replaced with a newer version of the hardware that provides either a faster performance or better security. In this case, the upgrade is dedicated to security. The town does not currently have a an EDR, MDR solution, which is detection and response. We have endpoint protection that does have, I would say like a detection and response, a light version of detection and response.
Mhm.
Um,
You can see if somebody's trying to hack into the network.
yes, this would be automated and monitored 24/7.
Okay.
This is going to be a requirement that we'll most likely see from our cyber insurance provider, that it'll be required for us to get coverage this year.
Anybody have anything else on that?
Looks like Kevin does.
Oh, yes, Kevin.
Sure. So one of the issues, as you know, with firewalls, it appears to be, and I understand it, pretty much work with firewalls or used to every day, is the firewalls are no longer a good defense, right? It's all about zero trust and ability to detect. So, I understand this year for a firewall type of upgrade, for the speed and efficiency, as you said, but what you also talked about, detection and response, et cetera, is clearly where we need to be as a town and a school system next year. So from the school system and their hack, was that through a firewall? Was it around a firewall? Have we looked at that and have we decided maybe to move a little faster on the detect and response type of zero trust approach?
I don't have any specific details on the incident at the school, but I can tell you that the efforts that we're requesting funding for are to protect from that type of attack, as well as others.
And is there any specific software that within the firewall that does that?
Right now, the firewalls that we'd be upgrading to, they do have threat subscriptions
Yep.
that are purchased in conjunction with the hardware to protect
Okay.
against that. And that's the detection and response solutions would be in addition to those firewalls. So
Okay.
strengthen things further.
In the insurance that the town buys as far as hacker or ransomware, what does that really include? And is there a deductible in that? And it's part of your budget?
I believe it's grouped in with other policies, so I don't have an exact figure. And it's likely to change rather substantially as of this renewal. It's my understanding. But we don't have any figures on that as yet.
Yeah, okay. So if we're to move much more to a detect and response versus a firewall upgrade for next year, are there plans for towns for like zero trust where you don't trust anything? The firewalls are a technology of the past, and we worry about detect and response to stop our breaches in the future. I mean, is there an ongoing plan for that security so that we don't have to continue to try to build a moat around Groton and we instead detect of who's actually in our system?
I think what we're going to be looking at as a combined effort, we're definitely going to need firewalls for other reasons.
Okay.
But we'll be adding that detection and response, those solutions to further strengthen.
Yeah, that'd be great. So is the schools within this IT budget, or is that a separate budget as far as these upgrades?
That is separate.
Okay, thank you very much.
And do you try to implement similar solutions? Or
As of right now, there's not a lot of coordination between the town and the school. But I think that would be great.
that would be great.
Separate worlds. Okay.
Quantity discount.
Hmm?
You get a quantity discount.
I don't think so. Next item, we have this municipal parking solution software.
Okay, and I
Because
believe
the LJ's on the call.
this line item will be handled by Chief Fazaro.
Good evening, everybody.
Mhm.
Are you having a little connectivity issue on my end? Can you hear me all right?
Yes,
All good.
So this is a proposal that we put together as a result of pretty robust discussions and inquiries into addressing some of our parking concerns throughout the town, but most notably in Mystic. So we're proposing the purchase of municipal software, or municipal parking software, which will enable us to better enforce the existing no parking zones in certain parts of the town. It will also manage the initial response, meaning if an individual is issued a parking ticket, there'll be a way to adjudicate it through the system, also send out notices. They'd be able to pay through an app or through their ability to access the town website, rather than doing it the way we do now, which is a carbonized parking ticket that goes out to, is given to a violator, who later has to mail it in, and then we have to put together a adjudication system here with a hearing officer. That would still need to be in place, but there would be a preliminary adjudication that would be done through the software itself. But what it consists of is a mobile printer, a device that our officers and community service officers could use out in the field, that would enable them to track and record and document traffic violations much easier than we do it now.
So it's really a computerized ticket system is what we're talking about?
It's really a cell phone app. It's a cell phone,
Yeah.
standalone cell phone with a small printer on it. But like I said, it can document utilizing the camera. But it also there's a backbone on this that is managed by the vendor that we would go with. The amount of money that we proposed is based on some of our preliminary inquiries into software of this type. There's a couple of different vendors that we would be more engaged with should this funding be approved.
And is this a one shot, 47,000, that's 47,000, is this a one shot?
No, there would be annual service fees. Again, those, we would have to budget for that in the future, but the initial outlay would be to purchase the system, get it up and running, for them to do all the programming and stuff that they need to do on the front end. But there would be recurring costs. My hope and expectation would be that it would pay for itself in time through the issuance of tickets.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so what's the app called anyway that you look to embrace?
We haven't, at this point, we'd have to do an RFP. We'd probably have to go for a purchasing agent. I wouldn't commit to anyone in particular. There are some out there. There are several different vendors that have approached us that we've had discussions with, but we don't have anyone identified yet.
Yeah. So when you look at your dashboard as far as tickets are concerned, how many tickets were written in the town of Groton, and what percentage of those were in downtown Mystic this year?
I don't have that number for you.
Yeah. So if we're looking to pay for it ourselves, shouldn't we maybe work on a dashboard like that, where to me it appears that people routinely break the law as far as parking? Not a serious violation, but we repeatedly do that in downtown Mystic, and I don't see tickets being given. That's all. I don't see that action. So is there a process that you intend to bring behind this, that you're going to be much more aggressive as far as that ticketing is concerned, and what would the process entail?
We do that now. We issue tickets. I don't have the numbers right in front of me to present to you on that. What I'm asking for is a system that makes it much more user-friendly for our officers, less labor-intensive, makes it a lot easier to issue those tickets. We do that now. We do that through a carbonized form. There is cost associated with us purchasing those tickets. Every time the fines change, we have to dispose of all the old tickets that we have and bring new tickets in at a cost to the town. What this will do is we do it automatically. And again, it's not just an app, it's an actual a couple of devices, a series of devices that we would use out in the field that our officers and community service officers would be able to utilize out there. So the hope, again, we're trying to address issues that have been brought to the department, to the traffic authority, to the town manager. And this is one of those proposals that we're thinking is going to help address that. And certainly through my examination of this and discussion with other people, colleagues, how they've effectively addressed this is through utilizing such tools that we're proposing in this CIP.
Yeah, no, so it's great. Now, I believe we call them bricks in the field instead of like mobile devices, or just the bricks that really do it, because they're handheld. So when you get to the adjudication process, right? So I'm downtown, I don't pay my bill. What is that process at this time so that you can go after me because I haven't paid my bill?
Well, that would be part of the software. There'd be a scofflaw part of it where we would be able to keep track through the system itself, where if an individual repeatedly violates this and they get multiple tickets, there may be an option for us to either use some devices that have been used in other communities that we don't currently use to restrict the movement of the vehicle or to ensure that they pay for it, or we would have the vehicle towed. But that would be, a series of things that would have to be put in place once we get this software. But
Sure.
again, it would enable us to better do those types of things.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, I just want to commend you. It's a great initiative, and love to just see a metric dashboard as far as numbers for next year, because I really believe that I think it will help the community a great deal. So keep it going.
Sure.
Yeah.
If we're able to get this, I think we'll have that data for you be much more accessible than it is now.
Well worth it.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else anybody has on
I
the?
just would like to ask what your thoughts are, Chief, in regard to, we have a parking issue in downtown. We struggle with it all the time on this commission. And how do you see this in, like, is that where the problem is that you see, where people are parking there for longer than 2 hours, or?
Absolutely. Yeah, my position has been that we have limited amount of parking down there. We understand that. There may be some engineering solutions, but really we've got an old historic community in Mystic that people, particularly now more so than even in the recent past, visit. There's a lot of businesses that people like to frequent, but there's a limited amount of spaces down there. And what we see are individuals that come down there, they attempt to park, can't find parking. They drive through the side streets, the residential neighborhoods. Sometimes they drive faster than the posted speed limit, which is something that we get complaints on. When they can't find spots, they keep circling through. They're looking for other areas. May go into the Mystic Art Association, which really is the largest parking area downtown. If they can't find something in there, they'll exit. They'll go elsewhere. We've done study after study, and you certainly can get on the town's website and see what those studies have found, and they've all been pretty consistent that we find an inordinate amount of people that park in maybe 2-hour parking zones in some areas, or in other areas where there isn't regulated parking, and they stay there for a long amount of time. And study after study has demonstrated that many of those people are some of the same individuals who are working or employees in downtown Mystic. And they do what most people will do. They will go to the most convenient spot and in many cases stay there. I do think there's some other solutions that the town should certainly examine. Those have not always been universally adopted or embraced by members of the community, members of our elected bodies. But we meaning the police department, in conjunction with the town of Stonington and their police department and their leaders, have looked at this for years, trying to come up with some workable solutions. But there's a whole bunch of different components to it. But yes, part of the problem is people parking in these parking spots for too long. Very little turnover, and these aren't just my words. They're things that you can look at by going to the study that was done by John Burke, not the town manager, John Burke, who's a parking consultant that we utilized in conjunction with the town of Stonington. And I think that would give you a pretty good idea of what some of the problems are that we need to address.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Can I mention something there? Is that I remember
Yes.
having a discussion about the 2-hour spots versus 3-hour spots versus 4-hour spots. And I was told that you kind of hedged on it. It's not that people are parking for more than 2 hours. It's that local employees are parking for more than 2 hours. So it's not, I think our big problem isn't the tourists who maybe won't even care about getting a ticket because they might never come back. The problem is actually that we have employees and wait staff that will, as you say, if they play the odds, and if they're pretty sure they won't get a ticket, if odds are they won't get a ticket, then they might take that gamble. It might be a good gamble right now. So I'm hoping that the system would fix that, and that it would actually be pretty clear that if you're there for 2.5 hours, no matter who you are, the next time you come back, your car is towed or something, because otherwise it won't fix itself.
That's part of the problem. I mean, I don't want to blame it all on the employees. I mean, certainly they're trying to provide a service and they're working down there, and we want that to happen. That's part of the problem. I've I know we've had discussions about metered parking down there. That isn't universally endorsed by everyone. I do think it's worthy of further examination, but that's a decision that others have to buy into as well. So, yes, is that a component, the workers? And yes, that's part of it, but that's not it exclusively. We have very popular attractions in Mystic. A lot of people are coming there, particularly in the good weather months. But even during this time of the year, during the winter, we're seeing more activity in Mystic than we did in the recent past. So we don't have a lot of parking solutions down there, and we're trying to manage it the best we can. And this is just this proposal that we've forwarded from the police department is just one way that we want to address it. And I know our colleagues in OPDS are certainly actively involved in these discussions that we have on a regular basis.
Anybody have anything else on that? Moving on then, got town meeting AV presentation equipment upgrade.
Yes, I believe Sean from GMPV is
Sean.
going to speak to that.
Yeah, I see his face there.
Hello, and Jen's here too. So this is the 6th year of the project. We've been going through all the town buildings, upgrading the meeting room space. So far, we've completed the town hall annex, as you probably see in front of you right now. We've also completed the town hall. Today, we've also have put in an order to finish the library with the main meeting room. We already have about 2/3 of that project done. We've also just ordered the Parks and Rec set up as well. So we're moving right along right now. This next year, we're looking to take on the police department's conference and meeting rooms and the training rooms. And we're also looking to water pollution control and the human services building as well. So those be the next year's projects.
Anybody have any questions on this item? Nope. At least we're hearing everybody tonight. So
Yeah.
that's a good sign.
Yeah. So my only point is, I think it's again a great initiative. I think the hygiene of the people, like the different commissions, just have to adhere to what is directed, such as speaking into the microphones. So
We're working on it. We're trying to give them the tools, and so we're
thank you,
working
Sean.
on it. Yep,
Good work,
you're
Sean.
welcome.
Okay, let's see. Next item I've got is police evidence processing command vehicle.
I think that's going to be Chief Pizarro.
I think that's.
Yeah, that's me again. So
No,
we
no
proposed.
Humvee. Go ahead.
Sure. What we proposed last year, many years ago, our department had a couple of different vehicles that we utilized for multi-purpose vehicles to process crime scenes, to utilize at critical incidents, up to and including traffic accidents. We divested of a couple of these in the past. At the start of my tenure, right around 2015, 2016, we had an old van that was utilized here. It was a panel van, kind of very similar to what you would see as a UPS truck. That had outlived its useful life. We divested of that because it was no longer safe. We have not been able to replace that since. We're looking to do that. We've offered a couple of proposals. Last year, the town council and RTM funded what at the time seemed to be about a third to a half of the cost of the vehicle itself, and the sum of $125,000. Unfortunately, that was not enough to purchase a vehicle. They're at least double that. They're more in the neighborhood of $300,000 to $350,000. This is a long-term investment, something that we would expect to last the town for many years. I'm familiar with these from my prior employment, where they lasted anywhere from 10 to 20 years. So it's certainly something that we could utilize, as fate would have it. It's something that we would be using at this very moment for an incident that our officers are out investigating for a serious injury accident. We don't have anything similar to that. It's utilized to carry equipment, to also house our officers that are conducting an investigation or at the scene of a critical incident or significant event, of which we have a lot here in the town of Groton. And we would certainly we need something like this in our inventory, and would certainly make it available to our partner agencies here if the need should arise.
Anyone have questions or concerns on this item?
Believe that is it.
think that's
for
it. So.
Technology.
Thanks.
Thank
it
you very
is.
much.
Yeah, thank you. I think the next one you have is page 75, plan of conservation
PLCD.
and development.
That's right. So as you may recall, last year, the council funded $150,000 for this project. We've recently issued the RFP, but we've also contacted other towns who have recently updated their POCDs and have found that really it is closer to $200,000 for a good plan. So we are asking for an additional 50 this year.
Any concerns with this item?
Of course not.
No,
Very nice.
it's gonna fly through.
It'll make our job easier. Come on. So I think now we get into the water sewer lines, the good stuff. More public works.
That's right.
You do 95%.
Oh, that's right.
I got page 80, pump stations is, I think the next one. we got.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hmm?
Yep, these are construction funds for the Burgess Park Pump Station. We have an engineer doing the design right now. This is a small canned pump station, which is basically like a steel tube that's in the ground. It's starting to rot out. It's actually becoming almost unsafe for the employees to go down inside of it where the pumps are and work. So we're looking at replacing the whole station.
Above ground or keeping it down?
We don't know yet. I think
Oh.
it's probably going to be like similar to what we did at Fishtown, where we'll have the pumps stuff, be able to pull them out of the wet well. You have submersible pumps, so you don't have to go down inside
Oh,
and
that's
work
good,
on them, and
yeah.
all the controls will be up.
Make it
Ability-
safe.
Make it safer, yeah.
It's good. Anyone have any?
It's a fairly small pump station.
Yeah. Any concerns with this or questions? And I think our last item, treatment facility.
Yeah, this is
page
60,000 for design funds for our main primary clarifier tank, which is the first tank that the raw sewage sees when it comes into the plant, and has a mechanism where it spins around, and it's probably pretty much original to the plant. So we're looking at getting that replaced.
Any questions or concerns on this item? Yep. Well, that should complete our review. So we need a
Good,
motion
thank you.
on this, say we've completed the review.
And to find it consistent with the plan of
Right,
conservation and
that's what
development.
I like to make.
That's right.
Make a motion to say planning and motion to say the planning and zoning commission has reviewed the proposed capital investment program for fiscal year 2025 and considers it's in accordance with the goals of the POCD. Is there a
Second,
second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion?
I would just like to, I agree with that, but I think that maybe these are some of the things that we're gonna have to address. Or there are things here that I believe we should be addressing in the new POCD. That a lot of these things that are being zeroed out concern me because they seem like they're critical things, and I think that we should be really addressing some of this stuff and not just putting,
Well,
Putting
okay,
blinders
that's
and not, the energy
I would think
efficiency
that's
and
this-
open
this-
space has been zeroed out,
but the discussion probably should be after we vote.
Well, I
on the
was just,
motion And before adjournment.
that's fine.
Is there any discussion on the motion?
No.
We'll vote on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion is carried unanimously. And now, Mike, you have,
Yeah, no, that's it.
You
Just,
wanna-
I see a lot of things being zeroed out that I feel like
our
this
report.
commission is concerned about.
Yeah,
Uh, that concerns me, and I would like to, I know that we have there's a limited amount of money that we can, and the school budget is drawing away a lot of cushion that we may have had.
Yeah, no, these types of things we probably ought to keep in our mind and figure out what we want.
Well, I mean,
Look
energy
for it in a
efficiency
big,
is something that, obviously saves you money, and spending money on those
Yeah.
things, we all do it,
Well-
and the town should be doing.
Yeah, well, at one time there was talk about getting a gas main and hooking up the town facilities on Route 1.
Well,
And up
I mean,
here.
that could be a solution.
But
I
that
also,
was,
a
that was
lot of
thing
these
is-
oil tanks that we're looking at.
well,
Then
that's-
what's the whole, I mean, you have to have a long-term plan. I wouldn't replace an oil tank on my property if I knew that the boiler was only gonna last 10 more years.
no,
I would start looking at electric heat pumps.
no, but what you're saying is we need a plan for energy use
Well,
or
that, and
consumption
then,
for these public buildings.
public buildings, especially the schools too, air quality in some of the schools. is,
These are the types of things we ought to keep in mind too, or
Yep.
the goals for the P O C D.
Yep, solar
Yeah.
panels, solar.
Yeah, that big C in P O C D is
Yeah.
conservation.
Well, I mean,
That's right.
Conservation.
No,
of-
we want to plan, yeah. Yeah, but how we spend funds, one of the things you want to conserve is dollars too.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to,
Believe me, I'm
no, but
100%
we ought to
on
have
that
a
boat.
plan,
Yeah.
plans to get there.
No, and it does concern me when, when any kind of technology is being implemented, and it's like, is this the same technology being implemented over here? And they'll say, we don't
Yeah.
talk to them.
Right.
yeah,
So this is again, a fragmented thing like we
Well-
got in Washington,
Yep.
that, the left hand doesn't know what the right is doing.
Oh,
And not that it's a huge problem, for our town, but it can be,
Mm.
Oh, no.
because you
Yeah,
got 50
definitely.
different vendors supporting, 25 different pieces of software. And it just goes on and on.
Hmm.
well, it's
Yep.
that, and then, I'm from the city, so I'm not supposed to bring this up, but, I don't know whether maybe the city police department has one of these trucks, or maybe they should be buying it together,
Oh.
but,
Well, that's, yeah, but we're not looking at it from.
no, I know that,
Yeah.
but I mean, the thing is, this is, but I believe, maybe not that in particular, but I think that our P O C D should be
Addressing
should be
that.
Looking at these things and.
Well, that's
That's
another
what's-
thing, how you make sure the whole community or regional is there. Because Groton Long Point will have their own Humvee to.
Just, I'm not, we're
They
we're
do.
not the money.
Huh?
I
They
see it
probably
every-
do.
I see it every
Do they
night.
really?
This is
I would
where
be
the
But it's
Department
big.
of
It's a
Conservation and
big one.
Development could
Mm.
have maybe
It
some
should be.
sort of impact. Maybe that is something that we should be like considering.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good-
Food for thought.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, good point. Yeah, like why does the fire chief in Mystic have one of those great big suburban things? Bigger than the whole
Yeah.
town Mystic is driving around, huh? But those things are,
Not allowed to answer it.
no,
And so if I can also just add in, because I'm in support of what Michael said, but if you really look at it, what we did this evening, right? We're really on the back end of what a decision that has already been made. It's a little bit of a rubber stamp process, right? And one of the things
Well-
we're trying to do with our conservation plan, and say something puts an asterisk on it that comes in, such as some of the heating issues that we came through today, that should come in before, from a process standpoint, before it hits the board. Because those are the type of decisions that someone needs to at least put some thought in, either support of what the town is doing or against maybe what some of the town is doing, so that we can help make those better decisions rather than sit in a room tonight where, frankly, maybe some of the stuff we really would have liked is already lost. So I agree with Michael.
So, and either way, it works for me. Yeah, and
But a
like
process change,
open
that's,
space being zeroed out, right? So then that
Yes.
makes no discussion.
right?
Whereas in the past, we have had that discussion and no one listens anyway.
well, they have to, what is it, 300,000?
No, I know
Yeah.
that, but
But we're also up at the point where the state goal is
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, just about.
well, really, yeah, okay. Anybody have anything else? And we have our next meeting on the 12th.
Right.
Nope,
And
We're
I
good.
hear That's till midnight?
No, that will be the next one.
Oh, oh, the next meeting's not.
The last meeting in March will be till midnight. Yes.
Oh.
Good.
Okay.
Why? What's that?
We have a number of
Because
public
she's
hearings and a
she's
number of
saving everything
applications.
up to the end of the
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. It's a quarterly.
It's
rush.
think I'm out of the
In a
country. so-
quarterly. It's
Bye.
like selling cars. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Seconded.
It's moved, second.
All those in
Are you
favor?
unanimous?
Okay.
need a
Let's-
second?
Want a second?
I'll second it. That's
All right.
fine. Always happy to second. You don't want a cookie?
All right.
Now I gotta get my
Oh, okay.
I gotta get my sandwich. I didn't eat.
Good night.
Yeah.